kids are staying at their parents tonight, so for quiet house in the morning, I can sleep in a little bit.
There you go.
That does not happen anymore.
No.
I won't even be able to make it. My body will just wake me up at 7.
Yeah. Or 6:30. How old are they, kids? How old are your kids?
9 and 5.
Okay.
So they're pretty much up at 7 every morning.
Both boys?
Let's get you guys a win, huh?
Might have to be tomorrow.
And they gave Christian a good game.
Yeah, I think Christian started playing a little bit.
Yeah, it's always 3-3.
Yeah, then it was like 7-5, 7-4 or something.
Yeah.
Well, that Urza was kind of on the other side.
Oh, yeah, they've got...
Christian would have been in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's outstanding.
He's on West Michigan 16.
That's a good game for him. And then another guy, too.
Martin's older brother was really good. He's playing out in Holland for the Breeze. Gajtka.
Oh, sure. All right. Are we doing anthem or not?
I don't know. Did they do one in the East? Or no?
They did, yeah. Which I thought kind of odd, but...
Most games are 3 rounds.
Yeah, the game for Gajtka Central was 3 this afternoon. Feels like this.
I thought they were going to go 3 to save money.
Well, yeah, this one's 4. The last one was 4 too. So I don't know.
Michigan State, Michigan after.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Big weekend. Big weekend. Okay, folks, thanks for joining. As we've got one more game tonight in the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. I'm Matt Gajtka. Brad Verker's on the camera as Forest Hills Northern and Eastern welcomes the Capital City Capitals to the Patterson Ice Center here on the West Rink as we get set for player introductions and the drop of the puck. On the game just on this sheet, we saw Houghton edge East Grand Rapids 2-1 on a literal last-minute goal. In fact, a goal with under 20 seconds to play for Houghton as Noah Millette got the winner and the Gremlins picked up the win in a situation in which East won against Houghton last year in the first day of this event. And we are very pleased to present it to you with the help of gracious sponsors, including our leading sponsor, Baking Steel, along with the Patterson Ice Center itself, Howie's Hockey, Configura, WaterSolve, and IDville. And more on Baking Steel in just a little bit. For now, though, the national anthem at Patterson. Comparison, 7-0. They also trounced Woodhaven 8-0 in a Mercy Rule game. They scored 10 against Jenison. 10-5 was that win back on November the 21st. And they also scored 8 against Chippewa Valley. Their only loss on the season, no shame here, 5-zip to Detroit Catholic Central, who many believe to be the best team in the state yet again. So there you have it. And the Capitals led in scoring by Daniel Hansel, who's got 14 points in 7 games. Hansel wears number 7. There he is, kicking it right back to his own blue line. That's where Tommy Heilman handles and turns over to Matthew Duflo, but the Bird Dogs of Forest Hills Northern and Eastern are offside. Duflo, a late add to the roster, but he's been a contributor, picking up some points for the Bird Dogs. 3 assists, in fact. He's tied for the team scoring lead with the defenseman Ryan Warden. But scoring has been a struggle for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. We'll see how they can handle it against the Capital City Capitals, who are in the blue with the red and the white trim. Forest Hills in the white. Duflo right down the slot, but he got stick checked by Heilman at the last second, preventing him from pulling the trigger. So an energetic start to this, as we've seen in other games today. Both teams eager to put their best foot forward in matchups against squads they don't often see. These showcases usually do bring out the best in these young men. As Nolan Gino backhands to the safety of center. Tom Bissett, the head coach of Forest Hills Northern and Eastern yet again. Back to take is Graham Verker. Senior D-man reverses it around to the near side. The co-captain Ryan Warden clears down and out. Scooped by Cole Massey. Gave it away to the smooth skating Liam Tilley in the corner. He cancels with Starmer of Cap City, which is a co-op team from the Lansing area. Should have mentioned that right away. Turned over to Tilley in the slot, and Tilley was hammered after he let that shot go, was blocked, and his helmet went flying. That triggers the automatic stoppage in play for player safety. I want to secure that helmet as Tilley picks up the bucket and heads off to the bench with 15:37 to go in the first. Again, my name is Matt Gajtka. I call quite a bit of high school hockey here in West Michigan. If you are new to the scene, new to the channel, primarily for Grand Rapids Catholic Central and East Grand Rapids. So this is my 3rd game of the day, but I've seen Forest Hills Northern and Eastern a couple of times this year. As the Bird Dogs go to work, Tyler Baum dumping in, wide of goal, Sean Story. He's got some gaudy numbers on this season. Story turned it over behind the goal. Baum looked to slug it in front. That was deflected and cleared by the Caps. Slater surrounds it for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Punched along by Landon Earl, and off the stick of Easton Rybert, senior D for the Caps. And he's got a C on his chest as well. Up the middle comes Loudon Carisco. Rubbed out by Leonard on the side. Around the boards it goes. Lagsden looking for the pass from Walkus, and he does get it. Does Gus Lagsden. Had his stick slashed out of his hands by Carisco, and that's our first penalty of the game. Slashing the call against Capital City's number 29. 14:40 left in the first, and an early power play chance for the Bird Dogs, who went 2 for 7 on the power play in their most recent game. 3-2 loss to Catholic Central on this very same rink 6 days ago. Forest Hills led that game 2-1 going into the third before the Cougars of Catholic Central scored a couple of 5-on-5 goals. 2 pull away for the win. Bird Dogs look to set up shop, and we're going to change the face-off circle. Justin Halverson, arguably their top offensive player, wearing the captain's C on his chest, cedes the dot to Warden, who'll take this draw. Halverson missed a couple of games due to injury early on, but he is nifty, as you'll soon see. Halverson snapped the shot, or tried to, but he whiffed on it. Taken away by Jacoby Wolf. He parades back, but checked by Tilley, and Tilley is about to get called for interference. So there goes that power play. Wolf drew the call. Tilley is saying, I checked him after he let the puck go. What was wrong with that? But I guess too much time had elapsed. And the power play canceled out. It's a 4-on-4 situation now 14:24 remaining in the first period. Well, I said this was the final game of the night on this rink, I meant. On the East rink, Caledonia plays Salem in just about 10 minutes' time. That bouncing shot ends up on the back apron of the net, so the whistle sounds. Cam Starmer shot it that way. Leading point getter for the Caps is Daniel Hansel. Alex Gorsline has 11 points on the season. Here's Hansel circling the goal. Turns it back out high. Heilman shooting, and the first save of the game made by Wes Smith, who gets the call between the sticks, the only goalie on the Bird Dogs roster. Meanwhile, the Caps have 3, so Story in goal with a .928 save percentage. Record of just 1-1, so he was the one that the Caps sent out against Detroit Catholic Central. That says a lot. Ty Inglis, another goalie on the squad, has 3 wins and a .943 save percentage. So perhaps you can't go wrong if you're the Caps in choosing who's going to be the man in the crease. Dowling spun it out high. Starmer bunted it deep, far corner. Jax Wolf collides. Nolan Gino. He turned it back. Verker just waiting. Hey, why not? Takes some time. Makes a lead pass. Gino streaking in 4-on-4. Gino below the goal line. One player in the penalty box for either side. Gino tried to chip it behind the goal, and it ends up deflecting off the rink into the screen. Wes Smith, the Bird Dogs goalie, has a .900 save percentage. He's at a 3.43 goals against average. He's allowed just 24 goals on 241 shots against. Reiber for the Caps. Swiveling his hips, couldn't get around Warden, who closed down that avenue. Lagston tried to clear, couldn't do it. Long drive from Massey, that missed the target. Scoots around to the near point. Stopchinski shooting, saves Smith, loose in front, and he's got it covered. 24 seconds left on the 4-on-4. After that, the Caps will enjoy a 17-second power play. Fairly sizable roster for Cap City, just looking at it. Like I mentioned, a combination team of several schools. Forest Hills Northern Eastern, of course, right in its name, is a combination of players from both Northern and Eastern. They're called the Bird Dogs, combining the nicknames of Forest Hills Eastern, which is the Hawks, and Forest Hills Northern, which is the Huskies. Earl had his pass deflected to the middle. Warden left it for Earl, and dangerous. Hansel was looking for that. He couldn't get it. Duflo leads the charge back, and his shot is tipped out of play. So plenty of whistles in the opening 4 minutes and change here in period 1. Well, the Bird Dogs don't care how long it takes. They just want to get that first win of the season. It's been a challenge so far. They've had a couple of leads in the third period this year. One against Catholic Central last time out. One lead they carried deep into the third here against Lake Orion on the second weekend of the season. They're up 2-0. And then the Dragons came back with 4 in the third. Right toward the front of the net, and it scoots wide of Story. Reiber clears it around. Cap City power play begins, but it's a short one. Corisco out of the box. Put it in the skates of Duflo, but couldn't make any headways. Heilman driving it off of Slater. Well, apparently not. It was not off Slater. It was cradled by Verker behind the goal. That's icing. These two teams will be back at it tomorrow as well. The Bird Dogs have the Bay Reps at 3:30 here on the West Rink. Cap City also on this sheet against Grand Rapids Christian, which pulled away from Big Rapids earlier today. Halverson right toward the front with that point shot. Blocked by Heilman. Loose puck in front of the Caps bench. And Duflo takes command. Right on back to Easton Ryers for his shoot in. Halverson blindly turned it toward the slot. Good idea. Gino on goal, and Story had it measured. Outstanding save. He's a tall goalie, but got down to his knees very capably there. Gino looked to nub it through. Unable to do so. And cleared by the Caps. Taking a hit to make the play, Caden Massey, sophomore forward. The Bird Dogs changing ahead of the play. Wheeled up the near wing by Reiber. Warden got in front of that for Forest Hills. Story turned it over. Liam Tilley stepping up, centering in front. Lagston denied by the left pad of Story. Sean Story, an early Story on night one of the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. And icing against Cap City. Oh, hey, speaking of Lagston, who had that last chance, his dad, Andres, is the founder of Baking Steel, which is our title sponsor of the showcase. And a shout out to them, the essential tool, Baking Steel, that transforms any home oven into a legendary pizza machine. And the key there is baking steel is essentially a pizza stone made out of ultra-conductive steel, as you might imagine from the name. Steel conducting heat better than rock, as it turns out. You can learn more on our tournament website, as well as just searching baking steel via Google or AI or whatever you want to do there. Leonards hops on the biscuit for Forest Hills. Dumps it in as he twirls around at center. 6 minutes gone in the period. Each team has committed one penalty. But that's it as far as markings on the score sheet. Another icing against the Caps. So these teams both having a hard time getting the offense going on the counter, especially the Caps. But you wait around all day. Sometimes it takes a little bit to find the rhythm. Charlie Vance at the faceoff dot, punches it right on goal, and Sean Story melts it down. I was just talking to the Houghton radio broadcaster. He was mentioning that Capital City is going to make the trip up to Houghton at the end of this month. Big travel day upcoming, or travel days, plural. Twisted by Baum, onto the stick of Walkus. Pulls up, shoots, and he saucers it right over the crossbar. Slater keeps it alive in the attacking zone. Baum pins it to the boards. Reiber forcing it free. Warden steps to it. Pumps it around the kick plate. Taking it off the yellow is Reiber. And the backhand scoots into the bench. So we can't play more than a minute of action, it seems like, without the puck skipping off the rink. But Forest Hills will gladly take that because it was off of a Cap stick. So the faceoff stays down to our right. 10:13 to go in the opening stanza. Halverson versus Carisco. Carisco pokes it loose to the teammate stationed there at the top of the circle, Jack Anderson. Ryers goes D to D to Verker. Headman pass on the money to Halverson. Looks, snaps it ahead. Does number 13 in white. Duflo couldn't pin it to the wall. Puck still available. 2-on-2 scrum. High toss, out of play again. This time from Verker. This place is buzzing. It has been buzzing all day since our first game at 1:45 between Catholic Central of Grand Rapids and the Bay Reps. Catholic Central won that game in a shootout after a 1-1 tie. 3-2 in the shootout in 11 rounds. Halverson flags down the clear. And he snapped it right by Dowding. In deep into the Caps end. Dowding hacks it off the wall. Goes by Halverson right back to Nolan Gino. He circles the wagons in his own end. Bouncing pass, weird bounce off the boards. Didn't think it was that much of a grenade, but it hopped right by Halverson. And Earl gets run over by Dowding. Cap City on the attack, Jax Wolf. And the puck scoots up over the glass, and it's a souvenir on the near wing to a young man from Caledonia. Capital City makes a full line change with 9:11 left before the break. Some fans still filing in. Hey, for a Friday night, I guess it still qualifies as early. 8:30, just past 8:30. Paxton Miller pulls it back to the point. Snapshot by Reiber. Careens wide. Wedge loose by Gorsline, 11 points on the year. To the near side wall and Hansel. Warden. Run off by Gorsline. He knocks down Lagson. Lagson gets it, couldn't clear. Kicked along by Cole Massey. And he simply shoots near corner. Leonards. Confronted by Reiber over on the near wall. Tilly joins the party. Earl down the boards in front of the net. It goes. And just wide of Wes Smith, who watched it with a wary eye. Tilly at the face-off circle. Looks like Liam Tilly's playing up front in this game. He's played both in his career for Forest Hills. Hansel, drag move, and headed off at the pass, and then he's sent down to the ice by Slater, and that will be a penalty against Forest Hills Northern Eastern and their junior D-man, Will Slater. He'll go to the box for high sticking with 8:07 left in the period. Second power play for Capital City. So the Caps top line draws the call, and now they send Jax Wolf out to take the face-off alongside Garrett Backus on the left wing and Takari Hahn on the right wing. Back to the point. Kept in, yes, just barely. Flipped toward the front by Hunter Stopchinski, but slammed around and out, and Halverson lurking at the opposing blue line. Short-handed, passed it back, but Dowding got in the way. Broke it up. Stopchinski fed Wolf, and Wolf lost an edge in front of the Forest Hills bench. Cleared away by Duflo, short-handed. Behind his goal, Story gives it over to Dowding up the near wing. And Jax Wolf overskated, but here comes Stopchinski, the junior D. Stopchinski handed it right over to Duflo, who sends it the rest of the way. All the way 200 feet. Story, as Dowding canceled out with Halverson. Story nudged it to the corner. Stopchinski. 1 minute to go on the power play for the Caps. Jax Wolf in a goalless game. Under 7 to play in the first. Wolf forced it up the wall. Hahn sent it further. Punched around by Tilly. Loose in the Forest Hills zone. Whacked at by Baum once and twice, and he got it out to center. Near wing pass. Backus can't track it down. Warden pulled off that clear. Loudon Carisco. Oh my, watch out. It hit Verker on the bench, that dump in play. And that halts the action. With 6.5 left in the first, 27 seconds to go on Slater's minor for high sticking. Pretty quiet game so far for both goalies. A lot of action in the neutral zone. And the face-off controlled by the Caps. Heilman to Gorsline, cruising in, left it there for a long distance wrister by Reiber. Punch to the corner, off the blocker of Wes Smith, who's a freshman starting goalie. Always a rarity. Verker rides Carisco into the wall. Power play nearly over. Stepping up Hansel, Daniel Hansel, below the goal line, using that long reach, the left-handed shot. The senior turned it back against the grain. Far corner Carisco. Baum has it for Forest Hills and drives it off the far side glass, and out it goes to center. Power play is over. Forest Hills back to full and even strength. Delayed offside called against the Caps. Gorsline didn't realize, or maybe he did, and so it'll be an intentional offside. Unforced error by the Caps, and Forest Hills will gladly take that. Nice little break. Leonard's at the faceoff dot against Jax Wolf. Leonards draws it back. Wrist shot goes off the glove of Story from Easton Ryers. To the near side boards, Herzog gets a shift. Thomas Herzog, another ninth grader on this squad. Ryers hacks at it. It hops off a stick. Friendly fire deflection, but easily cradled by Sean Story. And the Bird Dogs send out some fresh legs in the form of Duflo and Halverson and Nolan Gino. Top scoring line for Coach Bissett. But the Caps escape with it. Wolf, oh, he lost it to Gino. Self-inflicted wound there. Gino across. Halverson, the shot held on to by Story. Great look. Gino hooks up with Halverson across the rink. And Story didn't know where it was initially in his paraphernalia, but he just didn't move. He sat right there in his crease and figured the whistle was coming. Left circle face-off for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Halverson drew it right back. Warden right on target with that. But again, a glove save by Story. Well, if you're Forest Hills, you got to feel pretty good about the performance so far. You haven't given up a ton and putting some pressure on the Cap City defense and its netminder. Duflo to the far boards, pins it, now emerges, trying to find some good ice, so to speak. But he could not get by the multi-layered defending of the Caps. Reiber on the puck. Drubbed it behind the goal. Warden clears it off a Halverson stick, and out it goes. And the linesman, when he got clipped by that puck, he was slow to get up. He's still hunched over on the near side. Maybe he got run into by a player, hard to tell. Gino leads the charge for Forest Hills, poke checked, but cradled by Duflo. He's right there between the circles. Shot was blocked by Heilman. Back to the point, Earl couldn't get it through. Duflo one more time. That's rejected as well, and now kicked out of the zone, literally by Hansel. Nolan Reiber tried once and twice to get it ahead. Cap City dumps in. 4 to go in the first. Halverson keeps it moving. Now he gets it right back. Goes the aerial route, right up the middle. That settles short of the goal. Starmer, with the encouragement of his goalie Story, retrieved that puck. And then Anderson was smashed by Grady Walkus. Long-range wrist shot into the glove of Smith from Carisco. 3:41 to play before the Zamboni comes out and does its work. The ice at the end of the first period is always the worst of the game because you go through the warm-up process, usually in addition to the first period, all in one fell swoop. Sometimes teams will warm up and then the Zamboni comes back out. Usually not in tournaments like this, though. Tilley wheels it to center. He gets in the face of Cole Massey to force the turnover, but the Caps are right back on it. Starmer shoves it deep. Far side boards Backus. Bumped into by Verker, but Backus keeps on ticking. Left the puck behind. Warden. Far board Lagston. Snaps the pass. Tilley collects it off the bounce. Over to Verker's corner. Verker under pressure. Backhanded that off of Jax Wolf. Comes loose for a shot by Backus off the body of Smith. Still free behind the net. Stays in play. Off the skate of Warden in front of the goal. Wakas swoops in to take it. And loft at right wing. Tilley couldn't win the race against Starmer. Tilley got it right back. The Caps reverse it. Backus, far wing, deflected all the way down, and no icing, ruled to have been off a Forest Hills player. Ryer's far side to Slater. Wakas mishandled, gets it right back. Baum snatches and shoots in. A.J. Brock, around the horn it goes. Gorsline clears. Off of Nolan Reiber's leg. Reiber chasing. Gino has it though. He stays ahead of Reiber, sprays some snow, couple different ways. Trying to create some time for himself, and does. Slater pitchforks it over to Vance, but his backhand picked off at center. Hansel down the wall. He was dispossessed. And a no-nonsense clear from Forest Hills. Brock ahead, Reiber off the window. No icing this time, even though Smith seemed to think there might be. 1:30 left in the first. Halverson ahead off of Duflo. He got it back to Halverson. Turned it over, though, up high. Carisco has it surrounded. But pried loose and cleared by Duflo. Left wing corner. No icing. Ruled that Easton Reiber could have played it. And now he does. Halverson tags up. No offside. 1:04 left. Duflo's pass. Dangerous cross rink. Hacked to center by Earl. Landon Earl, a sophomore D, getting plenty of ice time tonight. Wolf driving wide against Earl. Wolf cutting inside. The puck drifted behind the net. 3/4 of a minute left. Wolf trying to get to the front. Instead lays it back. Kicked ahead by Easton Reiber. Jax Wolf unable to make a play. Bird Dogs clear. 30 seconds to go. Stopchinski surging from left to right. Into the corner. Centering it out in front. Turning chance. Smith makes the save on Loudon Carisco from the left wing circle. 20 seconds left in the first. Full line change for the Caps as they aim for one more push before the buzzer. Nolan Reiber against Tyler Leonards. Leonards wins it for the Bird Dogs. Flung around, not out. Lagsden couldn't get it by. In front of the goal, what a chance, but Gorsline is robbed by Wes Smith. Gorsline turning it toward the slot. Leonards' backhand knocked down. Starmer shooting near the buzzer and off of Smith's pad, and that's it for period number one. A frantic finish. Gorsline the best chance for either side, but Wes Smith had the answer from between the circles. Back in 10 minutes time for the second period here at the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. Stay with us. Second period from Patterson. I'm Matt Gajtka. Thank you for joining for tonight's live broadcast. High school hockey in the state of Michigan. And this is the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. Wes Smith made some big saves at the end of that end of that first period for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. The Bird Dogs are in the white jerseys. The Capital City Caps are in the blue. And they tangle at center ice. Duflo controls the faceoff. Slater pumped it off of Duflo's skate. Right back to Slater, who throws on the brakes. Up the near wall, it goes right through Gorse line. Halverson upset he couldn't handle that lead pass. Back it goes. Hansel from behind the net. Try to bank it in front. Instead, controlled by Gino. Duflo, and then Verker is in there with a poke check to free up the puck. Halverson cruising down the wing. Halverson tried the toe drag. No sail against Easton Reiber. Hansel shot off the glove of Smith. That was a high-octane wrister from Daniel Hansel from between the circles. Could not bury, though. And so we remain 0-0. Cleared down Halverson. Breakaway chance denied by Story. Halverson out of nowhere. He was just lurking down there at the far blue line. I barely even registered that was going to be a grade A chance. Imagine my surprise, and the surprise of the Caps, as it turns out. Gino wristing, hard shot, but off the tip of the glove of Story. Back behind the goal, bang there to Gino. His pass to Halverson, interrupted. Halverson regains, snapshot. Story, the glove save, and an action-packed opening 84 seconds of this period. Still nothing on the board for either side. Caledonia and Salem just getting underway. I was snooping over there on the East Rink, getting another cup of coffee from the hospitality room. Big thanks to all the folks putting on the tournament. First class event all the way. And yes, I will say that about anyone who gives me free coffee throughout the day. Lagston at the half wall, stripped of the puck by Dowding. And the chase is on. Here's Wolf closing. Smith makes another key save. And the puck jumps over the glass. Jax Wolf that time. There's two Wolves on Cap City, Jax and Jacoby. Two Reibers, Nolan and Easton. Two Massies, Caden and Cole. So I'll just default to saying full names in that case. Jack Anderson told to back up by the linesman. Now he drops the puck. Bird Dogs control the draw. Walkus with Starmer on his back. Made the play to center. Baum tossed it ahead. Now 2 minutes into the second period. Weird bounce. Benefits the Bird Dogs. Ryers bangs it around the wood. Comes over to Verker. And he got a knuckling shot off there. The puck was rolling on him. Hard to control those. Baum a shot blocked. Out high by Takari Hahn, and that one hurt him. Behind the net, Stopchinski takes control, but gave it away. Verker. He banged it down the boards a couple of times. Anderson hacking away at it for the Capital City Caps. And icing has been called against those very same visitors from the Lansing area. Not a bad trip, just an hour's drive. Not as bad as the last team who was playing a local side here on this rink, the Houghton Gremlins. Well, if you're going to drive all that way, you might as well get the win, and the Gremlins did with a last-minute goal. 2-1 winners against East. East now 4-4 on the season. Warden drifts it on net. Story fought it off. Gorseline pumps it far wing. Duflo held it in for Forest Hills. Duflo again, confronted there by a couple of Caps and taken over by Hansel. Lead delivery, Gorseline. Gorseline, the toe drag. In the middle, pass to the doorstep. Smith, a huge save. Lunging out to deny Nolan Reiber. Still no goals on the board in this one, but Hansel picks it off. Cruising around the goal, wrap around, and it careens out to the point wouldn't have counted anyway as the net was off. It's Pegs and Will Slater and Ryan Warden give Wes Smith a couple of taps on the helmet. Little side hug there in the crease. Nothing wrong with some affection between teammates, especially when the goalie has just bailed you out. Wes Smith, good athlete in net. I've seen him play now 3 games. Down to a knee, Dowding couldn't get the shot through after the face-off win by the Caps. Backus played it behind the goal, helped out to center by Walkus, but that's icing against the Bird Dogs. Always my honor to be part of high school hockey in West Michigan, so obviously this event is a natural fit. First time calling 3 games in one day, though. For a man who lost his voice 2 weeks ago, that being me. A little bit concerned about it, but holding up okay. True endurance test. Hey, the vocal cords are a muscle, too. Dowding behind the goal. Jax Wolf took over briefly, but picked clear by the Bird Dogs. They try to go back on the hunt. Earl up the near wall. Out it goes. Dowding played it right into Baum. Baum pull-up move and back out to center inadvertently offside. Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Grady Walkus just couldn't keep that alive in the attacking zone. Nothing on the score sheet but penalties so far. 2 of them for Forest Hills in the first. 1 for Cap City. The Bird Dogs 0-7 on the year. Cap City 6-1. But it's been very competitive early on. Smith pads it away from the front of his goal. Easton Ryers clears high. Tilley through center, but Leonards couldn't get a stick on that. Flip behind Warden. Ryers in after it. Corisco has a chance, turns it out in front, and it ricochets off of Smith to the far wall. Tilley takes a hit to make the play and clears the puck. Corisco, near wing pass, doesn't connect. Leonards, he gave it away high in the zone. Hansel's shot, blocked by Leonards. Leonards ran into a brick wall in the form of Cole Massey. He goes down hard. Forest Hills wants a penalty. They're not going to get it. Almost looked like Leonards was the aggressor from my eye, and he got the worst of it. The puck in the skates of Warden. Corisco driving toward the net, but he couldn't find the loose biscuit. Warden does in the corner, and he settles things down. Dish up the middle to Gino. Trouble. Great skating to get by Gorsline. Nolan Gino surging in around another Cap. Gino shot, stop made by Story, loose puck, and Halverson, I think, knocked a Cap into the goalie, Story, who is down on his back. And Gino exchanging cross checks with Daniel Hansel, and now the concern is just that Sean Story is okay for the Caps. Story slow to rise, but I think Halverson's going to get dinged for this penalty. Roughing the call against him. Yes, it is. 11:35 remaining in the second. Third penalty against Forest Hills Northern Eastern in this game. And Story has his helmet off, getting a drink, taking his time, collecting his bearings. Power play number 3 for the Caps. They go to work against Wes Smith. Nearing the midway point of regulation, 0-0. Vance against Nolan Reiber. Reiber wins it. Helped back to the blue line by Gorsline. Reiber getting in there. Prevents the clear from Slater, but Slater keeps on going, and the backhand sent over the top by Vance, right over the head of Hansel. Tommy Heilman looking for an avenue. Back to Hansel. One-touch pass right there for Reiber. He sends softly into the near corner. Verker crushed it around. Not hard enough to get out. Hansel dished it down the wall. Reiber. Cross ring pass. Deflects over to Gorsline eventually. Finds Hansel. Again, Reiber right through his skates though. Gorsline ushers it back to the blue line. Now gets it back. Does Gorsline. One of the top guns for the Caps. Heilman shot. Save Smith. Rebound. He stopped that one too. He denied Carisco point blank. And the Bird Dogs get a frantic change of their penalty killers. A minute to go on the power play. The Caps have been effective. The dump in does not go for icing, but it will be cleared up but not out. Stopchinski. A backhand flip onto the twig of Jax Wolf. Wolf catches the pass that was tipped back to him. Wolf to Stopchinski. Drifting. Pass across through the seam. Garrett Backus. Backus' delivery intercepted by Matthew Duflo. And he sends it 200 feet with exactly 10 minutes left in the second. Final 20 seconds of the power play. Leonard's nearly forcing the turnover. That Stopchinski made him miss. But he coughs it up. Warden's backhand off the arm of Wolf out to neutral ice. Stopchinski leads Hahn in over the blue. His cross corner pass. Jax Wolf. Power play is over. Halverson out of the box. Down the near boards it goes. Warden smashed by Backus, but Warden gets the clear. And the Bird Dogs settle in at 5-on-5 again. Duflo did keep it in the attacking zone. Walkus down the boards. With that puck, ran into Cole Massey. And Backus escapes to center. Going head-to-head against Vance. Warden crushed him. High shot from Jacoby Wolf. Nothing but glass as it went over Smith's shoulder. To the point, bouncing around, turned on goal by Backus, but blocked. Never got through to Wes Smith. Verker drives it right through Baum at center, deflected, no icing. Cam Starmer tied up Baum. The Bird Dogs wanted a penalty, they didn't get it. Starmer. Big hit by Walkus on Starmer behind the goal as the Caps get the clear. Vance, far board pass, went right through Baum and hits her, being thrown left and right. Another big one delivered by Nolan Gino. Who else? You know, if there's some of that action going on, he's going to want to get in on the act. Baum ices the puck, bouncing wide of Story with 8:09 remaining in the second. And at this level, you can change on an icing. That's why you'll often see plays like that. Well, it took a while, but the intensity of this game has certainly picked up. Halverson against Reiber. Slater for the Bird Dogs. Cranks it around far side. Gino helping out. And again, he stops behind his net. The centerman for Forest Hills to Slater, looking for Halverson, and he lost an edge. Duflo trying to feed Gino. That was rejected. Halverson, he's having a hard time getting to the bench. I don't know if he lost a skate blade or what. Poked ahead. Tilly with Gino, 2-on-0. Tilly to Gino. What a save by Story. Flicked out his right pad and made the stop. Unbelievable. A 2-on-0 out of nowhere. And the pass went to Gino at the doorstep. Right to the front of the net with that shot goes Hansel and sticked out of play by Smith. Crazy action as Halverson, like I said, I think he lost the blade out of his skate. He had to literally jump into the bench. Meanwhile, the puck angled through center. It got behind everybody in a blue jersey. And Gino and Tilly were away on a 2-on-0. But not converted. And we remain goalless at Patterson. Jax Wolf Took a long time to shoot that puck, and the Bird Dogs converged on him to block it to the end wall. Tilly up the far boards, kept alive by Stopchinski. Warden couldn't get it by Stopchinski again. Tilly unable to flush it out on second try. Cross ring pass. Stopchinski, or Dowding rather, turned it back to the far side. Centered by Wolf. Nobody home for the Caps. Cole Massey looks up. Lagson ran into Stopchinski and a penalty. Penalty called, slashing, and who's it against? I thought it was going to be against Forest Hills. It is. Nope, we got counteracting penalties. One for Cap City, that's Stopchinski, and one for the Bird Dogs, that's Leonard's. So we'll continue on. 5-on-5, it appears. Yep, we will. There are 5 skaters out there for Cap. Excuse me, Capital City. The referee is still sorting it out. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, an extra penalty to the Bird Dogs. Joe Igo goes to the box, but it's still 5-on-5. Might be a minor penalty and a 10-minute misconduct as well. I'll listen for the call. Yeah, so Leonard's got 2 for unsportsmanlike plus a 10 for unsportsmanlike. The penalty is slashing, though, against Hunter Stopchinski. That's the Capital City defenseman. Up the middle and out for Forest Hills. Regardless, it's 5-on-5. Gino wipes out Starmer. Boy, you can't touch the puck right now without getting hit. Duflo up the middle with that. Gino makes a great move at center ice. Nolan Gino all the way in, backhand, stopped by Story. Gets it back, Verker shooting. Oh, it went off the leg of Thomas Herzog in the slot. Tough place for him to be at that moment. Herzog powers it further. Full line change for the Bird Dogs. 5.5 to go in the second. Who will score first? Slater lassos the puck at his own line. Ran into big trouble, though. Wakas keeps it going. Heilman near corner. Starmer across. There's a glove on the ice. It's blue and red, so we know it belongs to the Caps. And skied into the Cap City bench by Caden Massey from his own end. Or excuse me, that was Tommy Heilman. 4:57 to go in the second. Well, if we can't bring you goals, we've brought you plenty of physicality in the second period. It's tough as a play-by-play broadcaster, though, to ID all the big hitters because you're following the puck naturally. Rister goes wide from Backus on the setup from the right circle. Back to the point, push through traffic by AJ Brock, excuse me. Jax Wolf steps up, cuts inside, he's open, shoots, and he scores! Jax Wolf breaks the deadlock. It's 1-0 Capital City. 4:33 left in the second. And that was pretty much all Jax Wolf. Took it off the wall, saw some ice in the middle, and that's where you want to go if you're an attacking player. And it's 1-0 Caps. Beating Smith over the blocker hand. Smith gets consolation taps from a couple of his teammates. Well, we'll see if the belief is still there for the Bird Dogs. It should be. They've been right with the Caps every step of the way tonight, icing against Capital City. The goal is indeed unassisted for Jax Wolf. His 8th of the season. Now in second place on the team all by himself, just 2 behind Daniel Hansel. Nolan Reiber also has 7 on the year. That's who Wolf was tied with until just then. Halverson rammed to the ice. Penalty against Capital City. Roughing the call there. So the referee's trying to get a handle on this game. Gorsline goes to the box. 4:14 left in the period. Deemed to be a needless hit in the neutral zone well after the puck had left the premises. Second power play for Forest Hills. Matthew Duflo gets the call at the faceoff circle. Against Reiber. It goes forward. Baum. Turned it back out to the blue line. Tilley playing one of the points, along with Halverson. And flipped in front of the net and cleared. Spun out of danger by Hunter Stopchinski after Tyler Baum centered it. Halverson turns on the afterburners. Halverson through center, had his pocket picked. Hansel trying to work in shorthanded against Tilley and Halverson, who gave him a bump. Hansel, fadeaway shot, missed the target. Stopchinski shooting right into the glove of Smith, and no further play. 1:22 to go on the power play. Jax Wolf getting the first goal of this game, but now the Caps are shorthanded. See what kind of pushback the Bird Dogs can muster with the extra man. Warden with Walkus. Instead, he delivers it on to Gino, who can certainly lug that puck too. Gino casually through center. Picks his lane, and he chose wisely. A lot of room down the right side, but his pass back to the point escapes to neutral ice. Warden has to go back for it. Turns his back. Feeds Gino. A minute to go on the power play. Gus Lagsden. Deke to his backhand side to get around Wolf. Right to the front. Clearance hit Walkus in front of the net. Now Cole Massey overskated, but left it back for Jacoby Wolf to send the distance. First on that puck is Lucas Eilertson, but he's stripped. Lagsden skating ahead, high shot, blocker save, rebound Walkus. He gobbles that up, does Story. And he stops the music with 20 seconds remaining on the power play. 2:34 to go in the second. 2 saves on the sequence by Sean Story, who was run over earlier in the period. He appears to be no worse for the wear. The Bird Dogs complete a change. Baum to the bench. Slater out there to man the point. Smashed around far boards. Tilley, well done. Forehand flip. Vance back to Tilley. Walks the blue line. Does number 23. Shooting score! He drifted it in from distance. Liam Tilley has tied it with a power play goal. 2:18 to go in the period. The benefits of traffic in front. Liam Tilley just got it to the goal, and that's all it took for the Bird Dogs to tie it. Tilley's first goal of the season, his first point of the season. And that has injected some energy into the building for the de facto home team. Flipped over the glass by Gorsline, and we've got a new hockey game once again. A PPG for Forest Hills. That's 3 power play goals in their last 2 games. Well, not even 2 full games there, so maybe the Bird Dogs finding something on the advantage. Halverson rifles it right on goal. Story made the save, and he played it away with his goal stick. Over to the far wing, Hansel, but he iced it for Capital City. And the Bird Dogs trying to keep the accelerator pedal pressed to the floor after tying the game. I was curious if that might have been deflected from Tilly, but judging from his reaction, I don't think so. It sailed into the top right corner of the net, at least as far as I could tell from here. Tilly used his legs to create the shooting lane. Around the horn it goes and out. No icing this time. There is that man Tilly, off the glass and out. Halverson ahead to Gino. Couldn't fool Heilman with that move. 1:38 left in the period. Warden high shot, punched out by Story, nearly hit the rafters. Still free as Halverson crushes Hansel after he let go of the puck. Legal hit there, and a thundering one. Gino ahead, shot score! It hops into the goal off of Story's glove and into the net. And a hit after the play, levied by Cole Massey of Cap City. He's going to the penalty box. So the Bird Dogs take the lead, and they'll get a power play. Nolan Gino overpowered Story with the shot down the left wing. And for Gino, that's his second of the season, first one since the opener. Suddenly everything going the Bird Dogs' way. Late stages, second period. I think Halverson might get an assist on that. Possibly Tilly as well. Penalty is roughing against Cole Massey. And maybe the home team can add on. Got to get greedy in this spot when you're looking for your first win of the season. No assist announced to Gino. I'll look back at that replay in a little bit. Wackes relays it through. Herzog on it with a minute to go in the period. Left it behind to Wackes. Chipped off his stick. Reiber trying to clear. And Reiber getting involved physically with Herzog. And the referee's arm is in the air again. And this penalty might be against Forest Hills. We'll see. Yeah, Herzog is being escorted off. So much for the power play. Oh, but wait. We've got corresponding penalties. Easton Reiber also throws a leg over the penalty box door on the Capital City side. So it remains 5-on-4 power play. Okay. I spoke too soon. But the referees, again, trying to get some players off the ice. Just take the temperature down a little bit. It's on the verge of boiling over. After the face-off, wild scramble. This is Vance. Deals it out to Tilly, who scored from that spot a couple of minutes ago to tie the game. Halverson, a wrister, tipped over the bar by Baum, who was right out in front. Duflo smashed against the wall. The Bird Dogs wanted to check from behind. Meanwhile, back come the Caps. Reiber a shot off the shoulder of Smith. Shorthanded opportunity. 12 seconds to go in the period. Halverson pursuing. Reiber, though, is elusive. He takes the puck back. Pass it to himself off the back of the goal, but running out of time. Reiber's pass down to a knee. Starmer couldn't take it, and time runs out. On the offensive zone chance, shorthanded for the Caps. Wow. A lot happened late in that second. including back-to-back goals by the Bird Dogs. Tilly and Gino, 2 veterans come through. And for the second straight game, Forest Hills Northern Eastern carries a lead into the third. More to come from Patterson on the West Rink at the West Michigan Hockey Showcase, presented by Baking Steel. Well, will it be Forest Hills Northern and Eastern getting its first win of the season on its 8th try, or will the Capital City Caps come from behind to snatch their 7th victory? Two teams at opposite ends of the early season spectrum. The power play continues for the Bird Dogs. Forest Hills, snapper by Halverson didn't get through. Right back to Warden. He shoots, that's blocked by the sprawling Daniel Hansel, leading point getter and goal getter as well as a penalty killer apparently. Reiber throws on the brakes just inside the Bird Dogs line. On that fresh sheet of ice, still looks a little bit wet in some spots. As we hustle things along, nearly 10 o'clock on a Friday night. This our 3rd game on this rink today. Granville and Trenton played at 3:45. East Grand Rapids versus Houghton just before this one. So no goal on the power play for Forest Hills. Halverson reaches, can't interrupt that pass from Jax Wolf up ice. Warden takes it 1 minute into the 3rd. I'm Matt Gajtka. Thank you for joining us for the live broadcast of this game. Final game on the West Rink today in the West Michigan High School Hockey Showcase. Lagsden tried to pull it off the boards. Couldn't do it. Yanked free by Graham Dowding. Jax Wolf scoots right by Lagsden on the far boards, but couldn't get the backhand through. To the freshman goalie, Wes Smith, who holds the fort, makes a blocker save, punched it to the corner. I was able to watch the replays of the two Forest Hills goals. I've got assists for you. And can give them to you now as the play bogs down in the corner. Tilley's goal assisted, just one assist on that. Charlie Vance gets the helper. And then for Nolan Gino, give assists to Matthew Duflo, his 4th of the season, as well as Ryan Warden, his 4th point too. So the Bird Dogs have struggled for offense, but in some cases the usual suspects come through. Nolan Gino, 2 goals on the year now, left it Halverson, couldn't get it to the front. Fanned on that pass. Duflo, though, gloves the clearance out of the air. Hands to Halverson, shooting toward the front, deflected by Duflo. Easy for me to say. Halverson, oh, I thought he might have drawn a tripping call there as his skates were taken out from under him. Ryers holds at the point, but turned it over to Loudon Carisco. He escapes over the red line and dumps in. Wakas takes command on the bank pass. Halverson, once and twice, dubbed it to the blue line. Starner to Hansel. Hansel using the frame to protect the puck, but he lost control of it. Taken away by Vance as he skates after it, but he won't be able to prevent the icing call. 14:25 remaining in regulation time. If we have a tie, as we did in the first 2 games I called today until late in the 3rd period. The first game that I called, Catholic Central went to a shootout with Bay Reps. The Cougars prevailed there. We were heading for a shootout in East Grand Rapids versus Houghton, but Houghton scored with under 20 seconds to go in the 3rd. But either way, there is no overtime in the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. Another icing back-to-back against Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Coming into the game with an 0-7 record, but this is the 3rd time they've taken a lead into the 3rd period this year. First time against Lake Orion. 2nd time against Catholic Central. That was just last Saturday. Can they protect the lead this time? Best way to protect the lead is to expand it, of course. And the puck whacked over the boards and into the Capital City bench. Plenty of action here tomorrow. 7 more games. If you're looking for something to do, I mean, you can set up shop in here and watch hockey all day long. Starting with Granville versus Houghton here on the West Rink at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's an all-day affair on Saturday at Patterson. Dumped right in on goal as Sean Story makes the save. He and the Caps find themselves trailing. They just had the one loss this season, and that was to Detroit Catholic Central. Landon Earl buys himself some time, but ran into resistance in the form of Jax Wolf. Backhanded ahead by Liam Tilley, one of the goal getters for Forest Hills. Tilley on the forecheck, but it's cleared right by him. Given by Dowding to Wolf. Jax Wolf scored the only goal so far for the Caps, and he bidded for a second, but a glove save by Smith on his knees, and he holds for the stoppage in play. Tomorrow, the Bird Dogs take on Bay Reps on this rink, 3:30 in the afternoon. Capital City faces off with Grand Rapids Christian at 1:15, also here. If you're a Forest Hills Central fan by any chance, I'll have the Rangers game against Salem at 1 tomorrow afternoon. Then Catholic Central versus Huron Valley Titans, and finally, East Grand Rapids versus Trenton. Story makes a glove save on a neutral zone shot by Halverson. And Story didn't like the looks of the landscape in front of him, so he kept the puck and froze it for the stoppage. Also tomorrow, Caledonia versus Big Rapids. That's the final game on the East Rink. Turned over. Hansel trying to split the D. Warden knocked it away from him. And Hansel got his elbow up, and that's going to be a penalty against the Caps. Easy call. I could make it from up here, quite honestly. My goodness, Hansel driving the elbow into the face of Easton Ryers, who appears okay. Didn't look good, though, at the moment of impact. After Hansel was dispossessed, sprinting right up the center of the ice. And the leading scorer for the Caps goes to the box with 13:01 left in the third. Two minutes for elbowing. Hansel off. And the Bird Dogs look for another power play goal. Halverson won the draw. Tilley's shot was rejected twice by Wolf, but it stays in the zone. Halverson twisting it toward the front of the net, and it goes wide of Story's net. Scooped by Lucas Eilertson, and Eilertson gets that clear. Only called his name with the Caps shorthanded today. Kind of a specialist for them, it appears. Defensive-minded forward. Cleared again by Cole Massey this time. Gino slips by the pressure of Wolf. That's Jacoby Wolf. Duflo lost it to Jacoby Wolf. On down it goes. The Caps get a change of their penalty killers, or most of them. Eilertson battling against three Bird Dogs, trying to buy his team some time and kill some time, honestly. Tilley stretches out over the blue, and a head-high shot handled by Story. Halverson confronts a couple of Caps in front of the net. Maybe trying to provoke something, some kind of response. Won't happen with 12 minutes to play in regulation. The Bird Dogs got a burst of energy at the end of that second period, scoring twice in the span of exactly 1 minute. First Tilley, then Gino. Slater's drive, blocked and cleared by Heilman after Carisco got in the way of Slater's slapper. Walkus did not get over center red. That's icing. Walkus thinks he did. No, the referee can always overrule and say that was an official's mistake. I kind of thought it was. But the refs also got to have a good look at it, and maybe he did not. 4 officials for this game. In our first game today, there were 3, so I kept getting crossed up when the ref put his arm in the air. I thought he was calling penalties. All he was doing was calling offside, so it took me a little while to figure out what was going on there. Usually for MHSAA games, there are 4 refs, but with all these games today, probably a tough time finding a full complement of officials. 22 seconds remaining on the power play. Tilley, great feed, but Baum couldn't handle it. You could see him curse himself from up here. And again, cleared back down 200 feet. Graham Verker takes the available space, snaps the shot, Story the save, and there is no rebound. Power play almost over. 3 seconds to go on it, then Daniel Hansel will come out of the box. Well, this is rare to hold the Caps to just one goal. This year, the only time they have been held under 2 was their shutout loss to Detroit Catholic Central. They did edge Kalamazoo United 2-1. Another co-op squad. Stolen by Gino. Emerges and fires, and off the blocker of Story. Thrown back toward the front by Halverson. Picked off by Hansel. Lead pass, Alex Gorsline. Set sail as backhand toward the front, deflected by Nolan Reiber and wide. 10.5 to go. This long pass takes a while to get to Gino, and he's offside on himself. Just couldn't wait long enough for that one. There's plenty of room, but he's... Back to live action. Baum charging ahead, picking him up and putting him down. Walkus, can he get around the edge? He cannot. Brady Walkus unable to find any room. Charlie Vance slashes it ahead. A.J. Brock around the wood and out. Vance all the way over on the other side to get on the end of that. And he hightails it back to the bench after the successful Bird Dogs dump in. They lead it 2-1. Well, this lead has lasted longer than it did against Catholic Central last Saturday. The Cougars erased that lead in the opening minute of the third period. Ryers collects it at his own line. A couple of passes through the middle. Lagsden lost control, got it right back. Did Gus Lagsden. Had his stick lifted, still cleared on second attempt. And that attempted shoot in hit the linesman sitting on the Forest Hills bench. Watch out as Slater goes charging after a hit, but he missed it as Jax Wolf ducked right under it. 9 to go in regulation. No goals in this third. Lagsden, he nearly led Leonards into a scoring chance at the right circle, but the pass just a little bit too far, perhaps. Halverson wins it back at center. Excellent back check from the offensive-minded forward. No points in this game for him, but he's been obvious and evident in the attacking zone as always. Warden hands, Verker up the middle, picked off by Takari Hahn. Easton Reiber on it for the Caps. Gave it away halfway through the third period. Redirected ahead. This will not be an icing. Off a cap stick. Halverson controls. Wanted to slip it through. Almost got it there to the late charging Matthew Duflo. Icing against the Capital City Caps. Just the one penalty in this period. Both teams have cleaned it up in the third. Playing a little more cautiously with the stakes rising. Often happens in the third period of a close game. Walkus burrowing in. He's centered, or tried to. Hit the outside of the goal frame. Baum yanked it out in front. Vance's backhand intercepted, and Reiber is off and running. He slipped past Slater, but Slater gets the puck right back. He got the last laugh. Couldn't clear, though. Now the Bird Dogs do. Flushed out by Walkus as Massey slashed the stick down to the ice out of Walkus's hands. Or perhaps the stick was already on its way down. Hard to tell. No call regardless. The Caps hold it in. No, they don't. It's a hand pass. That's a break for Forest Hills. And Hansel can't believe his bad luck on that play. He thought he might have had an opportunity on the turnover. Instead, he heads to the bench. The Caps change lines. 7:35 remaining. Leonard's against Wolf. And Wolf and the Caps escape the defensive zone. Dowding couldn't make a move by as the puck was deflected away from his reach. Wolf through center with that pass. The Caps won a penalty as Garrett Backus was felled at center. Intercepted by Jax Wolf. Cutting inside. Blocker save by Smith. Play continues. Back the other way we go. Tyler Leonards. Can he get around the corner? He cannot. A.J. Brock ripped it away. Tilly overskated. Jax Wolf again patrolling to the outside. Lost the puck on the stick check from Leonards. Tilly, the chip to the safety of the offensive blue line, and he goes to the bench. Verker sucks up that dump, and Gino redirects it ahead, canceling out a potential icing. 6:30 left. Gino crunches Jacoby Wolf into the boards, and it's tossed over the head of Halverson out to center ice. Gino tags up, Duflo in, trying to create a turnover, and does as Gino hopped on the errant pass. All the way around the kick plate it goes. Duflo held it in at the blue line. Halverson drifting. Slipped in behind A.J. Brock, threw it toward the front of the net, and again it hops away. Transition game for the Caps. Hahn pulls up inside the blue. His feet handcuff Jacoby Wolf right onto the stick of Halverson. Rips the pass ahead. Gloved and held on to by Hunter Stopchinski. No penalty, but he held it for too long, so the faceoff will be in the defensive zone for the Caps. 5:46 remaining. Tension building. Forest Hills just a few miles away from their destination to get win number 1. But Hansel breaks back 2-on-2. Hansel drifting inside. He's stoned by Smith. Great move, better save. Reiber takes it back for the Caps. The high flip. Warden clears. Wakas couldn't take it back. Baum reaching. Back in possession of the Caps. Reiber angles it. Gorsline down the boards. Could not get through the checking of Landon Earl. Sophomore drawing a big assignment there against the big line for Capital City. Baum with 5 minutes left. Can he clear? He cannot. It's blasted off the leg of a Forest Hills player by Stopchinski. Shoots again. Pad save Smith. Turned right through the slot by Gorsline. There's Hansel on the far boards. The Bird Dogs pinned a bit. Baum confronted by Stopchinski, who pinched. But Baum on second effort does get it out of the zone, and he charges over to the bench. The Bird Dogs get a full and complete line change. Pass up the middle, glove down by Gino. Played it far corner, Halverson. He takes his pound of flesh, ramming into Easton Reiber. But the co-captain of the Caps, Starmer, had it for a moment, lost it to Gino. Big frame forward, Gino centering under Halverson's stick. Back out to Verker, blasting. Oh, it's off the body of Wolf and just wide. Wolf knocked down by Gino, but he still moved the puck up and out to Garrett Backus. And the biscuit ends up in the Cap City bench after the confrontation at center. 3:53 remaining in regulation time. No goals in this period. No penalties either for a solid 10-minute span now. Nice turnout from the student section for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. All lined up. You can see them there on your screen. Behind the goal to our left, supporting Wes Smith and his defenders. Late night at Patterson, past 10 o'clock. on a Friday. The Bird Dogs wouldn't mind working late if it means getting their win number 1 in 2025-26. Heilman ripped the shot. Blocker saves Smith. Loose at the side of the zone. Warden couldn't clear, hit his own man. That was Vance. Still held in. Hansel, the dangerous one, putting it toward the middle. Wrister by Reiber, and I think Smith got a piece of that to keep it out. Otherwise, maybe it was the defenseman who got in the way. Hard to tell, but it bounced over to the near corner where it's still pinballing around. Players getting physical, and the referee blows the play dead with 3:12 left on the clock, and a Cap City player down on the ice. That Gorsline, he was on top of the puck, and he pulls himself up to his skate blades and moseys on over to the visitors' bench. As of right now, Nolan Gino in line for the game-winning goal. If the Bird Dogs can hold on and keep the Caps to 1. Also, thoughts have to be coming into the Capital City bench about taking their goaltender off. They have not had to do that this year. Their only loss, 5-0. So that wasn't a consideration. Dumped right on goal by Tommy Heilman. Smith leaves it for Slater, looks up ice, and his shot out of the zone, deflected right to Nolan Gino, but he lost control of it. Halverson. Oh, Halverson's hurt. Oh my, he can't get up right now. Oh my goodness. Backus just steamrolled one of the Bird Dogs at the blue line, but Halverson has hurt himself, and he is down on his back, and that's tough to see. I don't even know what happened there. I don't think he really got hit. I think he tried to stop quickly, and then he reached down to his left leg. Maybe it's a cramp. I hope that's all it is, because the athletic trainer is just stretching him out. Halverson, who's already missed time due to an injury this season, is prone on the ice, or was. Now he gets up with help from one of the coaches, I believe it is, with 2:40 remaining. Well, the Bird Dogs might have dodged one, and this game is still volatile, as you saw there. Checks being handed out left and right. I would say like it's the first of the month, but people don't hand out checks anymore, so got to think of a new reference there. That used to work back in the day. Here we go, neutral zone draw. Tilley finesses it to neutral ice. Vance sends it the rest of the way. Just wide of the goal. Story hands. Stopchinski couldn't connect on that pass. Starmer forcing it up the far wall. 4 Bird Dogs in the vicinity. And punched behind the Forest Hills net. Warden clears it around. Not out. Tip just wide in the slot by Nolan Reiber. Stopchinski sent it his way. 2 minutes to go. Nolan Reiber again. Distributes in behind the goal. Poked by Tilley right to Warden. Up to Baum. One touch. Good pass to Vance. The goaltender's off. There's an empty net, but Walkus shoots into the far corner. Maybe he didn't see it. Story to the bench. 6 skaters on the ice for the Caps. Trailing it 2-1. The Bird Dogs in pursuit of win number 1 on the season. Gino couldn't force the turnover, and it's played right through Duflo. On for the carry by Stopchinski. 1:30 remaining. 6-on-5. Stopchinski's shot rattled off of Smith and went wide. Verker looks for the empty net. Down toward the goal and in! Graham Verker, 3-1. Forest Hills Northern Eastern. The Bird Dogs have some breathing room at long last. 1:19 to play. Verker looked up, thought, hey, why not? I'll take a shot. And from 160 feet out, The senior defenseman connects for a massive goal for his team. Timeout called by Capital City. Have to imagine that Sean Story might stay on the bench, or at least he might head off again after the neutral zone faceoff. Well, good fun late night from Patterson Ice Center. Glad you joined us for the live broadcast, or if you're watching it after the fact. Glad you accessed it that way. Just a perfect empty net shot from Graham Verker. Hits the bullseye. And the excitement is palpable on the West Rink. Gino gives Liam Tilley a couple of back slaps. The fight's not over yet. Story returns to the net, but he's well out of his crease. Down to my right. Face-off controlled by the Caps. Gorsline sends in wrister by Hansel. That was a tricky one. Nearly fooled Smith, but he kept it out. Empty net again for Capital City. Gino back to Duflo. Halverson, he's back out there after the cramp, it appeared, that he suffered in his left leg. Gorsline, turn it over. Warden shooting for the empty goal. That's blocked at the blue line by Easton Reiber. 45 seconds remaining. Cross corner dump in by Reiber. The Caps are after it. Jax Wolf. Hansel drags it toward the front, pinned down by the blocker glove of Wes Smith, the freshman goalie, who's now 31 seconds away from earning his first varsity win. Well, it's taken nearly a month, but it looks like the Bird Dogs are going to get that victory they've been looking for in game number 8. Cleared by Verker, not out. Up by the blue line, up in the air, rolling puck. Hansel, desperation shot, pushed it wide. Verker from the left corner, gave it away right toward the front. Smith a save. Hansel again, off the stick of Smith. It's free behind the net. 10 seconds to go. Reiber pulls up, centered. That was blocked. 4 seconds left. It's tied up behind. Centered one last time. One last save by Smith on Jax Wolf. Bird Dogs win. Bird Dogs win for the first time in 2025-26. 3-1 your final over the Capital City Caps on night 1 of the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. Liam Tilley, Nolan Gino, and Graham Verker, your goal scorers. All of them veterans on this squad. Tilley and Gino, juniors. Verker, a senior. Gino gets the game winner officially. He scored it late in the second period. 2-goal burst in 61 seconds by Forest Hills Northern and Eastern. Turned a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead, and they protect the lead and add one more in the third. The Bird Dogs now 1-7 as they shake hands with the Caps at center ice. Capital City drops to 6-2. Capital City will face Grand Rapids Christian here on this rink at 1:15 tomorrow. Meanwhile, Forest Hills against the Bay Reps the following game at 3:30. Thank you for watching tonight. What a way to close night 1 of the second West Michigan Hockey Showcase as the home team gets the win it's been looking for since the start of the season. Good night. God bless. Talk to you tomorrow from Patterson Ice Center